Talk to me.
Movie Day! Today we're reviewing Talk to Me.
Talk to me about talking to you about Talk to Me. I'm your host, Tremaine Hayhoe, filmmaker here at Hayhoe Studios. The film begins with Mia, a 17-year-old girl who is struggling to cope with the death of her mother. She is distant from her father, and her best friend, Jade, is the only one who seems to understand her. One day, Mia, Jade, and Jade's brother, Riley, are invited to a party where they meet Haley and Joss. Haley tells them about a game called Talk to Me, in which you can summon spirits by holding an embalmed hand. The friends are intrigued and they decide to try the game. They light a candle and say the words "Talk to Me," and soon they are communicating with a spirit who claims to be Mia's mother. At first, the friends are excited about their new ability to communicate with the dead, but as they continue to play the game, they start to experience strange and terrifying things. The friends realize that they have unleashed something dangerous and they must find a way to stop it before it's too late. Talk to Me is a well-made horror film with a strong cast. The film is suspenseful and atmospheric. The film also explores some interesting themes about grief, loss, and the power of the human spirit. We have to talk about the film directors. They are Danny and Michael Philippou, my bad if I mispronounced her name, who are most known for the 6 million subscribed YouTube channel Raka Raka. Not to be confused with Rucka Rucka Ali, who stars in Simp, coming soon. So Raka Raka is a YouTube channel that has completely over-the-top intense action, intense violence. It's very engaging. They're very talented filmmakers, and you would think that they would make an over-the-top action movie for their first movie, but no, they made a movie called Talk to Me, a suspense horror thriller movie that they really did a good job. Watching interviews with them, they talk about how to go after those moments, not to make them too over the top. Like, as the film progresses, we get these really intense moments that put you like, oh my gosh, this is just shocking. It's more of a shock horror, I would say. Not like a jump scare type thing, more of like images are imprinted in your brain that are very creepy, very scary. I must say the prosthetics, the makeup that they do with these characters, with the spirits and the demons and all that stuff, it is very, very well done, like excellently done. And when they go for those possession type scenes, they really go after it. The director talked about how he was inspired with someone who was a friend of his on Snapchat who was basically having an adverse reaction to a drug, and his friend is just filming him as he's essentially having a seizure or something. And he talks about the dangers of that and the scariness of that, of when people in the 21st century will do anything for views, for anything for likes, when people are chucking milk cartons in grocery stores and pretending like they have dead bodies in the trunk. You have society, people that are grown up with phones, and that this is what it would be like. If this was a real thing, you could see that this would be like the teenagers would do it. I see that happening. The teenagers would try it. They'd want to get drunk. They'd want to see how long they could hold the hand and then film everyone's reactions. And it was a very cool, very timely movie. I feel like this is the Scream of the 21st century, where Scream wasn't exactly completely groundbreaking at the time, but it really captured the essence of what horror really was at that time, and having a stalker slasher killer that's always calling. What I like about this movie is that they didn't make everyone super glamorous. They weren't trying to make everyone this perfect high school student. You know, they're not casting 30-year-olds to be 15-year-olds. You know, they casted these well. The whole cast is completely stellar. The girl that plays Mia is, I believe it's a groundbreaking role for her. She's going to be in a lot more stuff. I just know it. Another person is Zoe, who really stood out as a character, and they're like one of the cool kids. And another person that stood out was this guy. He did a really good job as a performance. Like, those two together worked really well. And you see, they're kind of like the troublemakers in high school that you probably don't want to be hanging out with. Also, this movie starts off with a bang. It really brings you in to this party. Without spoilers, you know, you get thrown into this party, and then you kind of see the results of what this Talk to Me hand really is. So it brings you that intrigue, starts off with a bang, and then goes into the actual storyline. I'm very excited about Danny and Michael and the rest of their career. Apparently they've been offered some big movies like Street Fighter. They'll really be able to knock it out of the park with action movies. They'll be able to knock it out of the park with horror movies. I'm really excited to see what they what they do with this. Apparently their budget was around $5 million and they made $10 million their first weekend. So they doubled their money. By the way, it was picked up by A24, who famously has picked up Midsommar and a lot of Ari Aster's films. Ari Aster has been seen as like the latest and greatest horror film director. Same with Jordan Peele. He's having meetings with Jordan Peele, who made No Us, so on and so forth. I feel like these guys really came out with a bang. I'm really excited for their career. They seem like really nice, non-pretentious guys. There's so many pretentious filmmakers that are out there that make a movie and it isn't as good as they think it is. This is definitely not that. These guys are very into their work. They're very into their art. They're very into the story and they really care about it, but at the same time, they don't take themselves too seriously. So if you watch any interviews with these guys, they're laughing, they're joking around. I actually have been at the same party as them. 10 years ago, I was at a Maker Studios party and they were there. They're these short Australian guys, but they're like really nice, really friendly guys. And I'm totally excited. It's very inspiring watching their content and their channel progress. They made it into Sundance and they talked about the girl that always encouraged them growing up. They actually ended up inviting her to Sundance, and really heartwarming story. So as someone that grew up as a filmmaker making silly videos with friends, I can definitely relate to the story, and they are definitely well on their way to taking Hollywood by storm. So hopefully at some point I would love to work with them. Everyone wants to work with them. Everyone and their mothers, brothers, uncles, sister wants to work with them. But what I really like about them, they talk about how they had the offer to buy the movie before making the movie, but they wanted to change a few things. They wanted to make it more Hollywood. They wanted to put different people in there. So they really stuck to their guns. They made the movie that they wanted to make and that they needed to make. And guess what? It is paying off for them. They're from Australia, and apparently a lot of Australian movies don't do as well in US. But you know what's really interesting is I didn't really think of it as an Australian movie. I just thought of it as a movie that I was enjoying. I kind of got into the fact that everyone has accents, Australian accents, and it was cool. I mean, it was unique, it was edgy, it was fun. And when they go to these horrific elements, they go there. And they're also not trying to overdo it too. They could have easily made it overdone, overkill with all this crazy stuff. And apparently they almost did, but then they ended up scaling back the movie because they said, like, if it was way too crazy, way too intense, none of the kids would ever have done it. Also, the hand is a very good gimmick. It's, you know, it works perfect just having this porcelain hand, something, you know, everyone can relate to a handshake. It's almost like a creepy hand coming out of the grave or something like that. And the fact that it's a left hand, not a right hand. So most people shake their hands with their right hand. Most people are right-handed. So I thought that was really interesting, the fact that they chose it to be a left hand. So when they go to shake the hand, it's shaking with the left hand, which kind of looks awkward. It's interesting thinking about. And I wonder if they have a sequel planned with the other hand, because they kind of mentioned, they say, oh, where's the other hand, right? So obviously it could be two hands of the same story. The movie starts off with a bang, goes really well, and then in the third quarter, it kind of slowed down a bit, but also by the end, it picked right back up. So it isn't by any means a perfect horror film, and I'm not really the type of person that say, oh, I'm completely terrified of it. Like when it comes to paranormal type stuff, especially when there's a hand, it's like, well, I don't get as scared when it comes to like that type of stuff. But watching the movie, it was definitely scary. It was definitely shocking as well. And the prosthetics, the makeup, seeing the people, like, it's definitely, okay, it's creepy as all heck. Would I say I was completely terrified? No. I think a movie like The Shining is something that sticks with me more. Midsommar really stuck with me a lot more. But again, like, it's more of the same vein like Scream, for example. Scream didn't exactly scare me, but it had scares in it, you know? So it was just a well-made movie. It's just a really well-made movie, but better than most film. And again, I cannot wait to see what these guys do next. So I give Talk to Me 7.5 out of 10. Well done, guys. Great job. Cannot wait to see what you do next. Thank you for tuning into Movie Day. I am Tremaine Hayhoe, your host. Please support on Patreon. You get the videos first before everyone else. Hit that subscribe button and make every day a movie day. We have movies coming out. We got Simp coming out soon. We are getting post-production audio cleanup. Thank you guys for your patience on that. We got 2 documentaries coming out as well. So here at Hayhoe Studios, we are making movies, baby. Thank you guys for watching. What did you guys think of Talk to Me? Have you watched Talk to Me? Definitely go see it in the theater. Support independent films. Support these filmmakers. Help them make more movies. I think they're already well on their way to make more. So I'm very excited again for their career. And watch the movie with some friends. Get scared. Bring a date. Have a good time.